Beneath the basement archives of one of Europe's most prestigious archaeological institutes lies a vault that shouldn't exist. The steel door bears no markings, no identification numbers, nothing to indicate what lies beyond. Inside, dusty filing cabinets contain documentation of discoveries that challenge everything we thought we knew about human technological development. These aren't just ancient tools or pottery shards. These are inventions so advanced, so impossibly sophisticated that admitting their existence would require rewriting the entire timeline of human progress. The chief archivist, a woman who has spent 43 years cataloging humanity's past, keeps the key to this vault on a chain around her neck. When pressed about what she guards so carefully, her hands tremble slightly, and she speaks in whispers about artifacts that defy explanation. 3 months ago, she agreed to share her burden. What emerged from those conversations would forever change how we understand our ancestors. The first file she opened contained photographs of an object discovered in 1796 during Napoleon's Egyptian campaign. The official records listed as a ceremonial bronze mirror, stored in the basement of a prominent European museum. The object, roughly the size of a dinner plate, contains what appears to be a complex arrangement of crystalline structures embedded within the bronze matrix. When subjected to electromagnetic radiation, the crystals emit a coherent light beam with properties identical to modern laser technology. Laser technology, officially invented in 1960, apparently existed in ancient Egypt over 4,000 years ago. The archivist's files contained evidence of dozens of similar discoveries, each one more impossible than the last. In 1937, a team of archaeologists working in the mountains of Peru made a discovery that would be classified and buried for over 80 years. Deep within a cave system, they found what appeared to be an ancient workshop filled with metalworking tools. But these weren't ordinary tools. Analysis of the metal components revealed they were composed of alloys that wouldn't be developed until the 20th century. More disturbing still, the tools showed signs of having been used to work with materials that don't naturally occur on Earth. The lead archaeologist's journal, hidden for decades, describes objects that seem to manipulate gravity itself. Stones that floated when placed within copper rings. Metals that became lighter than air when exposed to specific sound frequencies. The journal entries become increasingly frantic as the team realizes they've stumbled upon technology that challenges the very foundations of physics. But the most shocking discovery came from an entirely different source. In 1953, construction workers building a subway tunnel in London broke through into a chamber that had been sealed for centuries. Inside, they found what appeared to be an ancient Roman workshop, but the devices within defied every assumption about Roman technological capabilities. The construction foreman's report, leaked decades later, describes machines that operated without any visible power source. Gears that turned perpetually, generating energy from seemingly nothing. Devices that could purify water through processes that wouldn't be understood until the development of modern chemistry. Most remarkably, they found what appeared to be a primitive but functional computer, constructed entirely from bronze and mechanical components. The Roman engineer's notes, carved in stone tablets found alongside the devices, describe a network of similar workshops throughout the empire, each one dedicated to developing technologies that were apparently considered too dangerous for widespread use. The tablets speak of a secret society of inventors and engineers who worked in the shadows, advancing human knowledge while keeping their discoveries hidden from the masses. This pattern of suppressed technological advancement appears throughout history. In Tibet, a monastery destroyed by earthquake in 1897 contained workshops where monks had apparently developed flying machines centuries before the Wright Brothers. Eyewitness accounts describe silk and bamboo constructions that could carry a man through the air for miles, powered by mechanisms that remain unexplained even today. The monastery's records, translated from ancient Tibetan texts, reveal that these flying machines were based on principles of aerodynamics that wouldn't be formally understood until the 20th century. More intriguingly, the monks claimed their designs were based on even older texts, suggesting a technological tradition stretching back millennia. In the Amazon rainforest, indigenous tribes have oral histories describing ancestors who could communicate across vast distances using devices that transmitted thoughts directly. When missionaries first recorded these stories in the 1600s, they dismissed them as primitive superstition. But recent archaeological discoveries have uncovered ceramic objects with internal structures that bear striking resemblances to modern electronic circuits. The tribal elders' descriptions of these communication devices match the basic principles of radio transmission with uncanny accuracy. They speak of crystals that could capture voices from the air, of metal objects that could send messages to distant lands instantaneously. The technology was apparently so advanced that knowledge of its construction was limited to shamans and village leaders, passed down through generations of oral tradition. But perhaps the most disturbing discovery came from the personal collection of a renowned archaeologist who died in 1984. Hidden in his estate were photographs and documentation of artifacts that seemed to suggest ancient civilizations had developed weapons of mass destruction. Stone carvings from India depict what appear to be mushroom clouds rising from destroyed cities. Sanskrit texts describe weapons that could destroy entire armies with the power of 10,000 suns. The archaeologist's notes theorize that these descriptions aren't metaphorical but literal accounts of ancient nuclear weapons. Geological surveys of the regions described in these texts have revealed areas with levels of radioactivity that can't be explained by natural processes. The implications are terrifying. If ancient civilizations possessed such devastating weapons, what happened to them? And why did this knowledge disappear from the historical record? The pattern becomes clearer as more evidence emerges. Throughout history, there have been individuals and groups who possessed technological knowledge far beyond their time. But this knowledge was systematically suppressed, hidden, or destroyed. The question is why? What force has been working throughout human history to limit technological advancement? And more importantly, what happened to the civilizations that developed these technologies? The archivist's files contain one final piece of evidence that ties everything together. A manuscript discovered in the ruins of the Library of Alexandria, written in a mixture of Greek, Latin, and Egyptian hieroglyphs. The text describes a global catastrophe that occurred approximately 12,000 years ago, an event that supposedly wiped out an advanced civilization and forced the survivors to hide their knowledge. According to the manuscript, this civilization had developed technologies that modern science is only beginning to understand. They had mastered genetic engineering, space travel, and energy manipulation on a scale that dwarfs our current capabilities. But their advancement came at a terrible cost. They had disrupted the natural order of the planet, triggering environmental disasters that threatened all life on Earth. The survivors, recognizing the danger of their own technological prowess, made a collective decision to hide their knowledge. They scattered across the globe, establishing secret societies and mystery schools, dedicated to preserving their wisdom while preventing its widespread application. Only when humanity proved itself capable of using such power responsibly would the full extent of their knowledge be revealed. This explanation, if true, would account for the persistent appearance of advanced technology throughout ancient history. It would explain why these discoveries are consistently suppressed or discredited. It would also suggest that somewhere in the world there are still guardians of this ancient knowledge, watching and waiting for the right moment to reveal humanity's true technological heritage. The implications extend far beyond archaeology or history. If our ancestors possessed technologies that we're only now rediscovering, what does this say about human progress? Are we advancing toward a technological future, or are we struggling to reclaim a past that we've forgotten? And if the guardians of ancient knowledge are still among us, what criteria are they using to determine when humanity is ready for the truth? The archivist's vault contains evidence that challenges everything we believe about human development. The laser technology found in Egyptian tombs, the gravitational manipulation devices discovered in Peru, the perpetual motion machines unearthed in Roman ruins, the flying machines documented in Tibetan monasteries, the communication devices described by Amazon tribes, the nuclear weapons referenced in Sanskrit texts. Each discovery, taken individually, might be dismissed as coincidence or misinterpretation, but collectively, they paint a picture of a human past far more complex and advanced than we've ever imagined. But there's more. Recent analysis of some of these artifacts has revealed something even more disturbing. The materials used in their construction contain isotopes that don't naturally occur on Earth. The metallurgy shows techniques that we haven't yet mastered. The precision of the manufacturing exceeds what should be possible with any known ancient technology. These aren't just advanced human inventions, they're artifacts that suggest contact with non-human intelligence. The possibility that our ancestors had contact with extraterrestrial beings would explain many of the mysteries surrounding these discoveries. It would account for the sudden appearance of advanced technologies in ancient civilizations. It would explain why these technologies seem to follow principles that our science is only beginning to understand. And it would provide a context for the persistent suppression of this knowledge throughout history. If ancient humans had contact with advanced alien civilizations, the implications are staggering. It would mean that human technological development wasn't a gradual process of discovery and invention, but rather the result of knowledge transferred from beings far more advanced than ourselves. It would suggest that our current technological revolution isn't the result of human ingenuity alone, but the rediscovery of principles that were taught to our ancestors millennia ago. The evidence continues to mount. Carbon dating of some artifacts places their creation at times when human civilization supposedly consisted of nothing more than hunter-gatherer societies. Yet these objects demonstrate knowledge of advanced physics, chemistry and engineering that shouldn't have existed for thousands of years. The only logical explanation is that our understanding of human history is fundamentally flawed. Consider the implications of the Peruvian gravity manipulation devices. If ancient civilizations could manipulate gravitational fields, they would have had access to virtually unlimited energy and transportation capabilities. The massive stone blocks used in ancient construction projects like the pyramids or Stonehenge could have been moved with ease. The precision of ancient astronomical observations could be explained by advanced instruments that we can't even imagine. The Roman mechanical computers suggest that ancient civilizations had developed information processing capabilities that we associate with the modern age. If they could create mechanical devices capable of complex calculations, what other computational achievements might they have accomplished? The implications for ancient mathematics, engineering and science are profound. The Tibetan flying machines indicate that human flight wasn't achieved for the first time by the Wright Brothers, but was a technology that existed and was lost. If ancient civilizations could achieve sustained flight, what other transportation technologies might they have developed? The possibility of ancient space travel becomes not just conceivable but likely. The Amazon communication devices suggest that instant global communication existed long before the invention of the telegraph or radio. If ancient civilizations could transmit information across vast distances, they would have been capable of coordinating activities on a global scale. The idea of ancient worldwide civilizations becomes not just possible, but probable. The nuclear weapons described in Sanskrit texts represent perhaps the most disturbing evidence of all. If ancient civilizations possessed weapons of mass destruction, it would explain the sudden disappearance of advanced ancient cultures. The possibility that our ancestors destroyed themselves with their own technology provides a sobering perspective on our current nuclear capabilities. But the most compelling evidence comes from the patterns themselves. These discoveries aren't random occurrences scattered throughout history. They follow a consistent pattern of advanced knowledge appearing, being suppressed, and then disappearing from the historical record. This suggests a deliberate effort to control the flow of technological information throughout human history. Who would have the power and motivation to suppress such knowledge? The answer may lie in the ancient manuscript found in the Library of Alexandria. If advanced ancient civilizations did indeed destroy themselves through technological hubris, the survivors would have every reason to prevent such knowledge from being misused again. They would have established systems to monitor and control technological development, ensuring that humanity wouldn't repeat the mistakes of the past. This would explain the persistent appearance of secret societies and mystery schools throughout history. Organizations like the Freemasons, the Illuminati, and countless others have been accused of hoarding secret knowledge and manipulating human affairs. While most of these accusations are dismissed as conspiracy theories, the evidence from the archivist's vault suggests they may have a basis in reality. The guardians of ancient knowledge would have needed to work in secret, carefully controlling the release of information to prevent technological advancement from outpacing human wisdom. They would have needed to maintain their vigil across centuries and millennia, passing their knowledge and responsibilities from generation to generation. The idea seems impossible, but the evidence suggests it may be true. The question remains, what happens next? If these guardians still exist, are they preparing to reveal the full extent of human technological heritage? The rapid pace of modern technological development suggests we may be approaching a critical juncture. Our current capabilities in genetics, artificial intelligence, and energy manipulation are beginning to approach the levels described in ancient texts. Perhaps the time of secrecy is coming to an end. Perhaps the guardians of ancient knowledge have determined that humanity is finally ready to reclaim its technological birthright. Or perhaps they've decided that the risks are too great and the knowledge must remain hidden forever. The artifacts in the archivist's vault represent more than just archaeological curiosities. They're evidence of a human past that challenges our most fundamental assumptions about civilization, progress, and our place in the universe. They suggest that we're not the first technological civilization to emerge on Earth, and they raise disturbing questions about what happened to our predecessors. The suppression of this knowledge has shaped human history in ways we're only beginning to understand. Every major technological breakthrough, every scientific revolution, every leap forward in human capability may have been carefully orchestrated by those who guard the secrets of the past. The implications extend far beyond archaeology or history. They touch on the very nature of human development and our ultimate destiny as a species. As we stand on the threshold of unprecedented technological capability, the lessons of the past become more relevant than ever. The evidence suggests that our ancestors faced similar challenges and made choices that ultimately led to their downfall. The question we must ask ourselves is whether we're wise enough to learn from their mistakes, or whether we're destined to repeat them. The vault beneath the Archaeological Institute contains more than just artifacts and documents. It contains the keys to understanding our true history and our potential future. The choice of what to do with this knowledge rests with each of us. Will we demand the truth about our past, or will we allow the guardians to continue their ancient vigil in silence? The time for hiding may be over. The time for truth may finally have arrived, but the question remains: are we ready for what that truth might reveal about ourselves, our history, and our destiny? The artifacts wait in their vault, silent witnesses to a past that challenges everything we thought we knew about human civilization. The choice of whether to unlock their secrets is ours to make.